Yes.
Go.
Okay, so family. It's a group of people that you cannot choose. It's a group of people that you have around you all the time. And it's a group of people that you hate, you love, you laugh with them, you cry with them. It's like a sinus function. It goes up and down and up and down and up and down. But one day it was enough for me. One day I decided to part ways with half of my family, the family from my father's side. But how does it come to that point? How does that happen? How can people push you so far that you say, I never want to see you again in my life? Never. That is the story I'm about to tell you today, about how that happens. Now, to begin with the beginning, the relationship with my father's side has always been very, very difficult. My parents divorced when I was very young. There was, I wouldn't say a lot of domestic violence, but there was enough domestic violence from my father that it keeps having an impact on me, on my daily life. I got beaten a lot as a child by my father, and that still has an impact on me. And one of the reasons why that's so hard is because you cannot talk with anyone about it. Because I only have 2 other sisters, and yeah, I don't know how to say this, but in my society where I was brought up, when it came to beating, it was never the sister that got beaten, it was never the female that got beaten, because yeah, I understand why, but it was always me that had to take the physical force of my father. It was always me that was getting beaten. And I had nobody to talk, nobody to relate to, because it never happened to my sister or to anyone, so there was not really one where I could resonate with that. And then later on, when I was younger, around the age of 7, 8 I would say, my father gets together with the Polish stepmother, which I didn't have a good relationship as well. And I could never do anything wrong. I could never do anything good for her. Everything I was doing was wrong, and she had a very big impact on my father as well mentally. And the hobbies I was doing were wrong, the interests I had, the things I was saying, the things I was not saying, everything what I was doing was wrong. And I want people to understand that there is this one pivotal, very pivotal moment in a relationship where it doesn't matter anymore what you're doing. It doesn't matter anymore what you're saying. People just don't like the way you are as a person. People just don't like you as a whole. And no matter what you're doing, it's always wrong and it's always bad and it's always just something's wrong. And at a certain moment, I couldn't do anything right for them anymore. And they were mentally having such an impact at me anymore. The amount of discussions I had that were going about nothing, it's incredible. I already shared this story with some people on the project already, so if you hear it again, I'm sorry, but it's just an example of how paranoid some of the situations were. So I once had a discussion with my Polish stepmother for an entire week, because I had to wash my hands in the kitchen. And she was angry for this, because in the kitchen you're not allowed to wash your hands. It is only for fruits and vegetables. And there was like an entire jar of hand soap in the kitchen. And she was angry with me for an entire weekend, just shouting and pointing fingers, and she was able to drag my father into this story and drag my entire family into the story that I was bad and that I was showing bad behavior and that I was doing this or that and spreading so many lies about me. And in Belgian society and in society in general, we are always taught that children should respect their parents, and you have to show respect to your parents and show respect to older people. But I've come to the conclusion that parents should also respect their children, and respect works both ways, and respect and the same values and morals is the basis for everything. And it doesn't matter how you're connected with blood, or if you have a bloodline with somebody, or if you have connection with somebody from family. For me, that doesn't really matter to me anymore, whether I have a bloodline with somebody or not. For me, the basis for everything is respect. And just a general understanding of who you are and what your interests are and what your beliefs are and what you think and how you feel. And that whole respect was just gone. And at a certain moment I just said, I'm just going to be more in contact with people who I choose to be, instead of people that were assigned to me for life, who don't respect me anyway. And it is at that moment when I made that realization, I finally was able to climb out of the worst period of my life. And in conclusion, I just want to say, the most important person in your life, it's you. It's yourself. You are the most important person in your life. And if people are having a negative impact on you, whether it's physically, whether it's mentally, it doesn't matter. Just go. Just leave those people behind. Don't spend your time with people that don't respect you. Don't waste time with people that don't understand you, that don't want to understand you. And the most important person in your life is yourself. And being selfish is okay sometimes. I know I had the card of selfish on previously, but it's okay to be selfish sometimes, and it's okay to be taking decisions for your own, if that is the way forward and if that is the best way to improve your life. Thank you.